Welcome back, everybody. I'm the Dr. Bob Lee from 107.5 WBLS, and you are watching Open. Our next guest is an author, and he's with us today to speak about how he overcame discrimination and hate crimes he experienced as a child, which he detailed in his latest book, Go Back to Your Country or Stay and Defy the Odds, and how he used that as motivation to achieve his American dream. So please welcome to the show, Issa Musharbash. Issa, welcome, welcome, welcome.
Dr. Bob, thank you so much for having me. I am doing so well.
Thank you so much. Now, you've come through a whole lot, but you defied all the odds. Tell us about some of the things that you've come through as a child.
When I got to the United States, I was 12 years old, Dr. Bob, and at that age, we lived in an attic apartment.
And you came here from?
We came from Jordan.
Jordan, yeah.
Jordan. And so we was my mother, my dad, and my other three siblings all into a two-bedroom attic apartment. At that age, I was the tallest sibling, and as a result, I was tasked with getting a job. And a 12-year-old boy who's tall enough could get away with getting a job at a sandwich shop.
Yeah.
So I got a job, and it taught me a lot working at a young age. I learned so much. Working did not mean I didn't have to go to school. I still had to go to school and then start work right after school and work weekends. The boss that I had was tough. And I talk a little about that. Very, very tough. I think for a new kid in this country who's already experiencing rejection in all kinds and all forms, sees that yet again, even in his place of employment. But there was this one day, Dr. Bob, that I was asked to do a delivery. And this is on Newark Avenue in Jersey City, Newark Avenue and Kennedy Boulevard. Oh, yeah. And as a 12-year-old, I take this delivery. It's a cell phone store. I drop off their lunch. They give me $40 and say, keep the change. I put the $40 in my pocket. I start heading back to the store. As I'm walking back, I heard a swoosh of air from behind me, followed by a tremendous blow to the back of my neck. Whoa. At that point, I fell to the ground. I look up and I see a group of kids about 10 feet ahead of me, charging down. It looks like they clotheslined me from behind and they were ready to finish me off. And I'm thinking, oh boy, they want that $40. Oh my God, they want that $40. And if I don't get this $40 to my boss, who's already tough to begin with, I'm in trouble. Either way, I need to get this $40 because I need this job.
Yeah.
So they charge, and I ran towards Kennedy Boulevard. I said, if I could just make it to the corner of Kennedy Boulevard and Newark Avenue, that corner, maybe my boss could see me, call the police, and I could live to fight another day. Unfortunately, Dr. Bob, I didn't make it to the corner. Right before the corner, I was knocked down, and that's when I was holding one hand on the money in my pocket, the other hand trying to shield my face, and the main assailant was wearing a mask, like the one Jason wore in the movie Friday the 13th.
Oh boy.
So it was frightening.
Yeah.
And three other kids were with him, and they must have been 15, 16 years old. And they were just punching and hitting and kicking everywhere they could. And I was just completely outnumbered. I thought that day I was just gonna die. And right there, before I was laid into unconsciousness, the gentleman stopped, and everybody stopped. The gentleman kneels down and whispers in my ear, or actually shouts in my ear, what sounds like a whisper until this day.
Yeah.
And he said, go back to your effing country.
Wow.
And walked away. I was able to straggle into the door and make it back into the store with a bloody smile. I tell my boss, here's your $40.
Wow.
Before you know it, I was in the hospital and the police were showing me pictures of suspects. All I remembered was the mask. And it turned out that it wasn't a robbery. They didn't even want the $40. They probably didn't even know I had $40.
Yeah.
It was just a kid that doesn't belong in this country. Let's teach him a lesson. And then tell him to go back to his country. So I had a choice, that was a pivotal moment in my life. I'm new to my new country. The pride swells in me every time I see that beautiful American flag. But yeah, at the same time.
So that was a big motivation for you to go ahead and do the best you can to make it happen in this country, right?
It was, and it was also confusing because this is my country. What do you mean when you say go back to your country? So for a 12-year-old to process that, it's very difficult because you come in, you're thinking this is your country. You finally reach the land of your dreams. You make it here, and then you're told to go back. But no, we got here. We made it, And so that go back to your country theme kind of stays with you for a while. And until you self-discover, until you realize who you are and what you're capable to do. And the opportunities in America are endless for those that could just get beyond the discrimination, get beyond the difficulty of assimilating into the country, the difficulty of fitting in, right? So I could have chosen to go back to my country, to abandon the values of this country, the opportunities in this country. But thank God I had my epiphany at 17. I was headed in the wrong direction. At the age of 16, I really rebelled. I gave my mom many nights where she got on her knees.
Well, that's what the adolescent stage is all about. You want to be an adult, but you're not there yet, So,
and at 16 for me is finding where do I belong. So I started to gravitate towards the gangster life. I started to gravitate to places where I felt accepted, and lived 18 months of darkness from 16 to about 17 and a half. That's when my mother was on her knees every night praying, one day, the Lord will save this boy and bring him back to his senses.
Issa, what are you doing? Issa, what are you doing? Lord, please let Issa come back. Let him come back.
That was every night because she had no clue what time I would get home. She's waiting, 9 o'clock, 9:30, 10, 10:30, 11, anxious. There's no way they'll get a hold of me.
So
praying that I would come home alive.
What broke you out of that?
Actually, it was, I didn't realize it at the time, but every time she prayed, God was listening.
God was listening. That's right.
And so the question is for every mother with a child like me, can you hold on long enough? Can you hold on to your prayers long enough? Can you be patient enough? And in your trusting that there will be a positive outcome.
A light at the end of the tunnel.
And a light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah.
And she held on. And I had my breakthrough in a very random place. I was serving ice cream at Baskin Robbins, Dunkin' Donuts in Jersey City. I was 17 and a half at the time. A whole bunch of girls walk in, invite me to go to their youth group. And I'm like, whoa, this is great. I bring my friends, we go to a youth group. And in the youth group there, I learned that I'm accepted there too. Although my experience with youth groups and churches have been negative in the past, I wasn't accepted because of the way I dressed, the way I spoke. This time it was different. And it was a small little church in Jersey City that was just loving on that little gangster boy that worked across the street in Dunkin' Donuts. And they weren't afraid of me. They gave me a hug. They welcomed me. And I found community in the house of God. And my life took a 180-degree turn.
Community and communion. And now you have the book. And you didn't write the book about business or anything. What did you write the book about?
No, my biggest.
Because you're a very successful businessman.
I thank you for sharing that. I mean, my friends have been after me about writing a business book. Like, Issa, you're a successful entrepreneur. You have multi-million-dollar businesses that we've seen you get there. Can you write about that? And I said, I will one day write about this when the timing is right. But first, I gotta tell you how I got here.
But Jason was in your ear with that mask. He looked like Jason, right?
Jason, yep. You're not good enough. Who are you to write a book? You don't belong in this country. You shouldn't even be in. All the doubts start to come in. But by the grace of God, I wanted to tell that story first before I go out and start writing 100 business books. It turns out that this book has so many business principles you could extract from. But I just wanted to tell the story, how we got to the US. I tell my mother's story in the opening of the book. The first quarter of the book is really how she got to where she is, why she wanted to come to the US, her journey to come to the US, and then it takes off into how I developed and became who I am today.
Well, if you can go back in time, how would you conduct yourself differently?
Yeah, if I had known what I knew then, I would just take advantage of the opportunities in this country at a young age. I would be a top student, in 7th grade, 8th grade, all through high school, rather than just waste that precious time.
You would have fixed that adolescent stage, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. But I don't live with regrets, because we could turn our lives around at any stage of our lives. We have the power to turn around, Dr. Bob.
Exactly. Where can we get your book? Because they're going to give me a hard rap right about now.
Sure. Go back to yourcountry.com. Very simple. Go back to yourcountry.com. You'll learn about the book and everywhere it's sold.
There you go. Issa Musharbash, thank you so much. He's an author. This is his country. Welcome to America. And maybe we'll go back. We'll go back to visit Jordan. We would love to go there, right?
Yes, absolutely. I went there in 2019. I went there in 2012. And hopefully next year we'll take a trip there as a family.
Bring the whole crew right here from BronxNet. All right. We'll go.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me.
All right. Thank you. Issa, thank you. We appreciate you. We'll take a break right here. I've got more open coming up next.